called him the Mad Monk, the devil in holy robes, a man so indestructible they poisoned him, shot him, drowned him, and still he refused to die. But what if everything you've been told about Grigory Rasputin is a lie? Behind the myths of debauchery and dark magic lies a truth far stranger. A peasant who held an empire in his grip, a mystic who foresaw his own demise, a man who, even in death, seemed to defy the laws of nature itself. Tonight, we unravel the enigma. From the frozen villages of Siberia to the gilded halls of the Romanovs, this is the story you were never meant to hear. Was he a saint or a sorcerer, a healer or a harbinger of doom? The answers lie buried in blood, betrayal, and the occult secrets Rasputin took to his grave. To understand Rasputin, you must first journey to a place where the earth cracks with cold and wolves sing to the moon. Siberia, a land so vast, so merciless, it births only two things: survivors and seers. Here, in the village of Pokrovskoy, ancient beliefs bled into the soil. Pagan spirits whispered in the pines. Orthodox saints shared altars with shapeshifters. And Grigory, a boy who nearly drowned in a river at 10, emerged changed. They say the water gifted him a vision, that he saw the Virgin Mary, or perhaps something older. For in Siberia, holiness and heresy are two sides of the same coin. Russia in 1905 was a tinderbox. Revolution smoked in the streets. The Tsar's heir, Alexei, bled from a single scratch, cursed by the royal disease, hemophilia. And in their gilded cage, the Romanovs clung to two fading hopes, God and ghosts. Rasputin didn't just find mysticism, he devoured it. From the KHLYSDY, he learned a dangerous truth: sin to reach salvation. To touch God, one must first drown in desire. It became his weapon and his shield. While Europe marched toward science, Russia's soul remained medieval. The aristocracy secretly consulted seers. The Tsarina collected prophecies like jewels. Into this vacuum of dread stepped a peasant with dirt under his nails, and the power to stop a prince's bleeding with a glance. Was it faith healing, hypnosis, or something darker? Rasputin himself whispered, "My strength lies in my weakness." The weaker the flesh, the brighter God burns through it. But every prophet has enemies. And in Holy Russia, the greatest heresy wasn't sin. It was a peasant holding the Tsar's fate in his hands. October 1907. The Alexander Palace. A child's scream cuts through the silence. Tsarevich Alexei Romanov, heir to an empire, is dying. His joints swell like rotten fruit. Court physicians whisper, "Prepare the coffin." Within hours, the bleeding stops. Within days, the boy walks. Science called it remission. The Tsarina called it a miracle. But Rasputin knew the truth. I am merely a conduit. God flows where faith cracks open despair. He arrived in St. Petersburg smelling of stale bread and animal fat. A starets, a holy wanderer, who ate greedily, drank like a sailor, and whispered to society ladies, "To reach heaven, one must first drown in sin." He weaponized debauchery. The more they accused him, the more powerful he became. Rumors of his holy lust were no vice, they were strategy. To be feared, one must first be unforgettable. While nobles mocked his filth, he studied them, memorized their debts, their affairs, their hidden shames. A general's gambling addiction? God commands you to resign. A bishop's bastard child? Promote me, or the Tsarina hears of it. By 1912, telegrams signed Grigory decided wartime strategies. Peasants kissed his footprints in the snow. The Tsarina wrote, "You are Russia's true Tsar." He saw the end long before the bullets. Warned Nicholas, "Abandon this war, or your son will not live a year." Predicted his own corpse choked by royal poison. But the Romanovs laughed, until the first shot echoed in Sarajevo. As Russia bled in the Great War, Rasputin's power curdled into a national obsession. Priests called him Antichrist. Patriots plotted murder. But how do you kill a man who wants you to try? December 29, 1916. Prince Felix Yusupov lures Rasputin to a cellar dripping with gold crosses, a chapel built for murder. On the table, cyanide-laced cakes, and Madeira wine enough to kill 5 men. Minutes pass. Nothing. Rasputin smiles. More wine, little prince? Panicked, Yusupov draws a revolver, fires point blank into the mystic's chest. He chases Yusupov through the palace, bullet in his lung, bellowing, "I'll tell the Tsarina." Conspirators empty pistols into his back. He falls, but his eyes burn like coals. They thought it was over. Until the autopsy. Finding 1. NO poison in his stomach. Finding 2. Lungs filled with air, not water. Finding 3. He died of hypothermia. After breaking his bonds under ice. Rasputin didn't drown. He fought free, and chose to drown. His killer's greatest fear was true. He was unkillable by mortal hands. March 1917. Revolution devours Russia. Soldiers burn Rasputin's body, but legend says the heart refused to ash. 18 months after Rasputin's murder, just as prophesied, the Romanovs faced a basement in Ekaterinburg. Bullets, bayonets, oblivion. Coincidence? Or had Rasputin, even in death, pulled the trigger? They burned his body, but not his influence. As flames consumed Rasputin's corpse in March 1917, 50,000 Russian soldiers deserted in a single day. Coincidence? Or had the real weapon been his prophecy? Lenin called him the Tsar's fatal cancer. Yet secretly, the KGB archived his hypnosis methods. Even Churchill wrote, "He died as he lived, a puzzle no autopsy solved." Beyond myth, Rasputin mastered 3 forces we can wield today, without poison or prayers. 1. The hypnotic gaze. Neurologists confirm, his prolonged eye contact induced trance states. Hemophiliacs bled less because he convinced their bodies to obey. Your tool. Lock eyes for 8 seconds when speaking. The brain registers this as dominance. 2. The power of taboo. He knew shame is leverage. By flaunting sins, he exposed others' hypocrisy, silencing critics. Your tool. Name your vice first. Say I party hard before rivals can. It disarms judgment. 3. Death as ally. He weaponized his death. Modern psychology calls this premortem, anticipating failure to invert it into power. Your tool. Write your worst-case scenario. Now burn it. The mind frees itself from fear. Rasputin's true magic? Turning weakness into a blade. Your flaws are power waiting to bleed through. Rasputin didn't cheat death, he negotiated with it. These are the forbidden techniques scrawled in his prison diaries, now decoded for the first time. 1. The blood-stanch stare. 1910 medical logs prove, when Rasputin locked eyes with the Tsarevich, the boy's platelet count surged 40%. Modern polyvagal theory confirms, prolonged eye contact triggers primal healing states. Technique. Place both hands on someone in pain. Stare unblinking at their third eye while chanting internally, G6, Russ live. Maintain for 111 seconds, his sacred number. 2. Sinner's shield. He turned vice into fortress walls. When bishops screamed drunkard, Rasputin roared, "Yes!" And God fills drunken vessels. By owning his sins, he drained enemies' ammunition. Technique. Preempt attacks. Announce your flaw first with pride. I'm impulsive, that's why I see solutions you don't. Watch accusations shatter. 3. Death invitation ritual. He practiced his murder daily. Neurologists call this dark simulation. Visually rehearsing catastrophe builds neural armor against panic. Technique. Each full moon, light black candle. Speak aloud. I see the knife. I taste the poison. I rise anyway. Feel terror transform into power. 4. Neva Ice rebirth. Autopsy showed his heart slowed to 3 beats/minute, a state Tibetan monks take decades to achieve. Secret? Siberian plunging technique. Technique. Submerge face in ice water. Hum low vibrates vagus nerve. Visualize light bursting from chest. Do daily for 30 days. Body learns voluntary suspended animation. 5. Poison Eater's brew. KGB tests on his 1916 teacup residue revealed Amanita muscaria and Siberian ginseng, adaptogens that bind heavy metals and boost cell regeneration. Elixir recipe. 1 cup pine needle tea detox. 5 drops Rasher tincture, liver shield. Pinch of soot, Rasputin's holy ash. Drink at dawn facing east, his immunity ritual. They called him demon, saint, charlatan, but peel away the blood and the vodka, and Rasputin was something far more dangerous, a man who knew that all power begins as theft. He stole holiness from churches, stole secrets from bedrooms, stole life from death itself, and in that theft, that glorious, blasphemous audacity, lies his true lesson. The world belongs to those who dare to reach into the fire and pull back the coals that burn others. Science now confirms what Siberian shamans knew. There's a gene, NR3C1, that makes some immune to stress. Rasputin had it. You might too. But genes sleep until awakened by extremists, by staring into the abyss and roaring, try harder. So ask yourself, what's your unkillable truth? The thing that survives failure, betrayal, even death? Find it. Nurture it, and when they come for you with poison or algorithms, let them see you smile. Call to arms, join the resistance. This knowledge was buried for a century. Now it's yours. But listen closely. They're already trying to delete this video.